That was our second.
So I think I thought I was stupid, but that's actually usually the safer bet. But we're going to move on to the next one. We've got eUnited against Dolos. Not the Dolos. I'm sorry for calling you that earlier. I'm sure I got a couple angry tweets from them. But Dolos against eUnited. So eUnited just recently getting picked up, I think coming in as one of the favorites for Europe. And Dolos, we saw them a little bit earlier. I'm expecting it to be a little bit in favor of eUnited just in general when you look at how they came in and the seed they came in on, and now having maybe a little bit of an ego boost of like, hey, we've got an org. I don't know.
I really want to see eUnited switch back to the Pearl. We saw them play the Blossom, and I wasn't too comfortable in the way Naraga played it. He's much more confident on the Pearl and plays much more aggressively. I think it fits the playstyle of his team just much better overall. And Dolos, of course, losing their first game as well. Very surprised that both of these teams are in the position they're in, but they're both down 0-1.
And when we talk about Pearl in threes,
yeah, she's wild.
For the longest time, everyone's like, there's no point, don't even bother, right? Just don't bother picking Pearl in threes because there's one thing that she critically doesn't have that a lot of other supports have, which is any kind of setup. Yep. She's got no hard CC. She's got her silence and her ultimate. Those are pretty much her biggest CC. And she does have the bubble, which is infuriating for most melees. But overall, you don't want to rely on that bubble because you usually use that to help defend your team in a wider range. So we're seeing her more often means that also I think we're seeing people getting used to playing their champions as those mixed roles. I have a melee champion, and I still, let's say I'm Bako, I know that I want to help support my team with that R as much as possible. I want to get value out of it.
Absolutely.
And people, as they get better, are realizing these things. So then Pearls can get chosen and find more value. So.
Yeah, I think for the most part, if you aren't Naraga, don't pick Pearl in threes.
That is also
I think this dude is just so incredibly competent on this character, combined with Sramia's Bako or Sramia's Shifu, that they make it work just because they're so good at what they do. And I think just like you say, like playing with your team and not having that setup on your support does make it a little bit harder, but that's where we see Sramia pick things up. We often see him being the setup with the Bako, the EX space, and the Shifu's in cap, two things that really enable the Pearl to be successful. They've really just mastered their craft.
All right, so getting into the draft, we're going to see any minute now what they're going to be choosing for their first champion. We're going to see a Jumong and Esmo. We haven't seen as many Esmos here in Europe as we had in North America.
Yeah.
But we've seen a significant amount of Jumongs, and I still love seeing this. There's just the stark contrast between Europe and North America and the champions they choose. And you can always cry metas or cry who's strong and who's not, but clearly each region feels differently.
Yeah, I really like how in Europe we're not seeing any Raigon. After yesterday, I do not feel good about that character. He looked so unfavorable into so many different matchups, and Europe seemed to have completely replaced him with the Thorn, who's having a lot of success. Of course, we're seeing the Jumong for Jürgen. I really like to see this Jürgen playing that huge, like alt-focused Jumong. Very fun to watch. Your Nightmare going to be on the Thorn. His classic pick. It makes sense.
Yep.
Excafu, kind of the one trick of eUnited, going to be playing the Esmo and Bako from Sramia. I really like these two together. The Excafu and Sramia play really well together on this combo. They're very practiced at getting that Bako in cap and then following it up with a Chaos Grip or an ultimate from the Esmo. Very strong pairing from them.
And there it is. There's the Pearl you were hoping for. We're going to see Xander on the side of Dolos. Xander to really help pull Jumong out of those risky situations, letting him kind of save that prowl for the worst of the worst, and it's going to help Thorn get around a lot. And then he'll be able to find more value out of his ultimate as well. Maybe you can space in. All of a sudden, man, they just left me. I can't do anything. Well, I'm going to get portaled over, and I still got my ultimate. So he will find a little more value as well. We didn't see great Xander play earlier today. We know that he does amazing in solo queue, as we meant, or not solo queue, but in ladder, in game. But we haven't seen him so far this weekend, at least not very often.
Yeah.
He was very dominant kind of just prior to this weekend.
Yeah, Xander is one of those characters that's kind of hard to play, especially after some of his nerfs, but this is going to be Clarny on Xander. I've watched this guy's stream quite a bit, and I've seen him play Xander. I know he's competent. I would go as far to say he's one of the best in Europe at the character, maybe only rivaling Gadolf. So this is going to be very good. Like you mentioned, it's great with Thorn. One of Thorn's weaknesses, as we often talk on, is he only has that one iframe.
Yep.
Portal's very good at helping give more iframes.
Yeah, and just being able to watch these two pretty different teams. You know, they have very different goals. You have a support that is just going to help his team move around, and a support that's just going to deal as much damage as humanly possible. So I'm going to switch things up. I want to know who you think first, and we'll see if Chad agrees with you.
Oh, this is a tough call, but now that we see Naraga back on his Pearl, I'm gonna go eUnited. You know, I was riding the hype train of eUnited coming into BPL, and I'm gonna stay on board.
I think it's gonna work out. I might have to agree with you there, but let's see what you all thought going into this.
Hey, what's up, Twitch chat?
eUnited, what's up? Hey, at the very least, 44% of the people are gonna think we're stupid, and I'm okay with those odds.
Yeah, I mean
I'll take the 56%
that's
anytime.
Fine, yeah.
Yeah, if I were to
Absolutely.
give you a hot dog, would you want 56% of the hot dog or 44% of the hot dog?
Yeah, 56, please.
This metaphor is definitely good.
You're the best, Carpet. Never change.
This metaphor is definitely good. So we're going to get into this match any minute now, but let's talk a little bit about these compositions. What are we to look forward to? So Dolos are going to try and find a lot of value in Thorn forcing out mobility cooldowns, and Jamong following suit with just raw damage when the debuff shows up for Xander.
Yep.
And on the other side, eUnited are going to have Bako and Pearl working heavily together, while Esmo's a bit of a nuisance, I assume.
Yeah, eUnited, they have been the team that plays very combo-oriented before we had seen Game On today. eUnited was the team that played as a unit. So I'm looking for these guys to get big combos off of Jaws, Pearl's ultimate, and Bako's in-cap.
And even just every time you in-cap, you have to worry about, as the people that are getting in-capped. If Bako gets an in-cap on you, you have to worry about a Pearl silence, which means you're going to get then hard CC'd right after.
Yes.
You have to worry about an Esmo ultimate. You have to worry about a Pearl ultimate. You have to worry about more stuff from Bako. I almost said Bako ultimate, but unless he builds inspiration, he won't be able to do that.
Right.
And you don't see that very often. But that is always fun, seeing a Bako build inspiration, in-cap you, and then you just have to sit and watch as he ults you, screams in your face, and smashes you into a wall. Always feels good as a Bako player.
I think there are a couple big question marks for this playstyle, though, coming out of eUnited, simply because the Xander exists. We generally know Paloma as the end-all, be-all answer to combo comps. I think Xander kind of fills the same role. If he has his portal available, it's similar to other side. It is a hard out that will save you no matter what, and it can be cast from a distance. Though the range that it can be cast from was just nerfed significantly by 20% in the last patch, you can still cast it from quite far away, and that is going to be a great answer to the combos eUnited want to set up.
So the targets are going to be important to watch out for. Who is going to be targeted?
I think we're going to see the Bako playing pretty aggressively on the backline, trying to force out things from Xander, because if Xander's forced to use cooldowns on himself, he won't have them for his allies. Very simple. So we'll see if Sremia is able to get those outs from Clerney early on and be successful in that way.
And we saw it earlier today. Finding Jamong early on before he can get any charges on that M1 or before he can build up energy for his R is where Sremia might find a lot of value. But he's being very patient here. Not going in just yet. Him and Thorn kind of whiffing things back and forth. Using his spacebar, not a lot of value there. He did build Bravery for protection. Naraga just barely keeping himself away from that M2 that's slowly creeping towards him in that bubble. But Jurgen taking some damage. I always want to call him Shaq Fu, but X-Kafu.
Yeah, X-Kafu trying to secure the orb, and he does. A nice in-cap coming out, leading into the Chaos Grip. Very nicely done. That's what I was talking about. X-Kafu and Sremia with beautiful team play.
And now Jurgen's got to be careful, but so does Bako. He needs these shields. He has to use his space for safety instead. There's the ultimate.
Oh, no. Unfortunate there. The Dead Roots is still going to be cast, though. Naraga doesn't get caught in it, luckily. Trying to heal bot his ally down bottom. And X-Kafu trying to ensure that he gets the ultimate, but he won't.
I actually kind of like that. I think since you can't cancel that ultimate, they use it as a way to try and bait out mobilities first, and then he can reposition himself and go for the ultimate. Could have been intentional, but would have been pretty insane if it was.
Yeah, absolutely. That team coordination would have been pretty unreal. The next orb spawning in about 5 seconds. We see eUnited trying to push forward, recognizing that they need this to come back into the round.
Orbs come up. Your Nightmare did miss that pull, and he will pay the price. eUnited will grab that orb. Clearly trying to dodge that incapacity from Bako, who has gone in. So doesn't want to use... Oh, the ultimate won't happen because the portal will pull him out.
Yeah, we talked about it. There's the answer to the Jaws, the portal available from Clerney. And man, Xander into Pearl, so favorable for the Xander. Of course, Pearl not very mobile, very likely to get sheeped. The ultimate, or the orb is going to be secured yet again by Dolos. Naraga trying to step up and help his team.
The placement on the double random arrows proved to be so strong. Your Nightmare not finding any value in his ultimate, but Jurgen smacking Esmo into Bako.
This is really bad here. The Pearl might go down, and she no longer has a counter or a dive, and she finally does. A beautiful play there from Clerney, placing down the sheep after the dive. This ultimate needs to hit, but it's only going to land on Your Nightmare. X-Kafu not getting nearly as much value as he needed to out of it.
Bako finding difficulty in getting these in-caps. I've seen about 3 or 4 of them go without actually landing on anybody.
Yeah.
And there's a lot to say about that. I mean, it is a difficult team to land in-caps on. I mean, Your Nightmare can use... I don't even want to talk about how much it's triggered me a million times. But he can essentially use his Barbed Husk to make sure he doesn't get CC'd at all and then just cancel it and start smacking you. But he can use that on any ally. You've also got Portal. And then you've also got everything Jamong does. You have his potential double space plus his Prow.
Yeah, so we talked a little bit about eUnited earlier on and how they generally play the same style of comp. This is the problem with doing that kind of thing. Clerney, he was playing Ulrich all day, but with this Xander counter pick, eUnited is having such a hard time getting hard setups onto Dolos.
Bako charging in. Again, using his spacebar on retreat. Isn't terribly a bad idea, especially if you realize you haven't really been able to land them. Barbed Husk finding a little bit of value, but Bako's Stays at mostly at max health. Couldn't get that orb through it. We saw the M1s kind of sneaking through. Sremea and Jurgen battling it out here in the bottom. Xander in support. There's the debuff on, but the double incapacitate there it is. He's been looking for it all game.
He's trying to find this damage on the backline, but Sremea, he's finally starting to have success. A beautiful war shout negates 40 damage, and he's able to space back with his allies. Blue team definitely need that orb, but they're not going to get it.
The orb control right now from Dolos between the EX spacebar from Clerney. You're going to be able to do Rain of Arrows plus M2. There's incapacity on support, but it does get broken. The ultimate from Thorn will keep Bako's allies at bay.
Portal's so good, man. The Esmo ultimate getting no value once again because of the portal. Clerney with that great heads-up play, ensuring his ally doesn't need it.
Another orb taken. Bako going in. He actually has to try and use his E to get out of there. He's got nothing but Bulwark left to protect him. He doesn't have enough energy for his war shot, so he needs to be careful. That actually going straight into Naraga's face after he dodged it.
Yeah, that was a beautiful weave, or a beautiful play from Your Nightmare, weaving past Sremea and hitting Naraga with that entangling roots. Things looking pretty dicey here. They're trying to find good damage onto Your Nightmare, but they're not getting nearly as much as they need to. A beautiful pull on the orb, though, might secure it, and it does.
That was very close. The Thorns were coming out from Thorn. And we're going to see Your Nightmares use his ultimate. He probably has the spacebar back up. There it is, though. That means he has almost nothing left. Jurgen getting cleansed with that EX M2 from Clerney from that incapacitate. God, it's going to be so difficult. All their setups are just completely countered right now by Xander.
Yeah, not only is there the portal, but there's also the spotlight. Xander also very immune to getting hit by that incap thanks to the space. He dodges it, and now the damage starts to come out onto Sremea as Dolos secures a 4th orb.
Your Nightmare and Bako both dangerously low as the melees, anytime they go in, could be their last. Incapacitated. They've actually put a lot of chain CC right now into Your Nightmare, but not enough damage between the shields and heals.
We see Sremea positioning forward, the posture, aggressive posturing against Jurgen, not letting him get away with whatever he wants, but Red Team able to get a 5th orb. And this is starting to get into that scary territory carpet. Everybody on the Red Team has the ultimate. The Dead Roots is going to pop off, and Naraga just gets destroyed by the Dead Roots plus Sheep. He has nowhere to go, no iframes for it, and now Bako and Excafu are all that's left. Sremea likely going to go down here, but the Dragon Slayer is actually reflected.
It's worth it. It's worth it. Always worth it to reflect the Dragon Slayer. Dolos fighting tooth and nail for that victory, but eUnited, they just can't line up anything. It is so difficult for them. Bako trying to spam incap, but it's getting cleansed. Trying to get ultimates from the Esmo, but they just can't find value because of the portal. What are you to do if you're eUnited?
Yeah, it's very difficult. Your Nightmare and Clerney are both playing so well together. Your Nightmare committing very hard. Like I mentioned earlier, he likes to do. Your Nightmare, formerly known as Crazy, is a very aggressive player. He goes in and he does not stop going in. But occasionally, Clerney's going to tell him to stop. Clerney gives him that portal when he desperately needs it, and he is able to dodge most of these big damage ultimates from the side of eUnited.
It's almost like Your Nightmare can just keep going, and Clerney just every now and then stops him from moving.
Yeah, it's like Clerney is like his parent. He's like, slow down. Wait a second, child.
All right, you can go back in now.
Yes, okay, go ahead.
Bako dealing with Rain of Arrows. Bulwark to protect himself from a couple of M1s from Clerney. It's going to land a Blood Axe. Who gets this orb's going to be huge, and Dolos will secure it again.
Dolos getting all of these orbs carpet.
We've seen so far the theme of Europe. I mean, it's the theme of Battlerite in general, but it really has been dominating on which team gets the orbs. Bako's looking dangerously low, putting as much damage on the Clerney as possible. Your Nightmare pays a price in the back end. But look at this. Pearl and Bako have been nowhere near each other, and they usually probably help set each other up for damage.
Yeah, absolutely. And Sremea is just having no luck at all. Your Nightmare going to find the kill from behind the bulwark, and Sremea is just having a tough time.
Ultimate. Waiting in the barrel for Esmo. There's the spacebar. He might use it now that he can find value, but here comes the portal.
Things not looking too good as Excafu and Naraga are forced to play so back in the respawn. They need to find this kill here, but Your Nightmare has the burrow available, and he's going to make it back to mid to secure the 3rd orb of the round. I don't think they've lost an orb in like the last 8 orbs.
It's just so difficult for eUnited to get in there. You'd think even with the Bako, they could get in there, but look at the AoE damage they possibly have. Right? Just think about what can grab the orb. You've got Your Nightmare. He's got his pull. He can get his claw. You've got Clerney. He's got his EX space. And then you've got Rain of Arrows from Jamong. So what Bako usually does is he jumps on it, body blocks.
Yep.
You can't body block when there's that much AoE.
Yeah, there's so much. You're absolutely right. There's so much AoE that the Bako simply can't answer. We see generally characters with a shield or a counter getting in front of the orb and posturing so enemies can't M1 it from range. But there's so much that just bypasses that with this Xander and this Jumong.
Dolos 3 rounds in a row. Looking to try and get a clean sweep here against eUnited, who are struggling right now. They really haven't been able to line up anything in succession. They've just been playing solo right now as individuals.
Ooh, a nice burrow, gonna dodge the Chaos Grip, and Dolos are gonna wait. They're gonna wait until Your Nightmare has the burrow. Sremia recognizes that, so he tries to go in and play a little bit aggressively, but a nice double Arcane Catalyst is gonna prevent too much damage from coming out onto the red team.
The portal is down, so Bako wants to try and go find Clerney wherever he gets a chance, and he gets Sheep before he can secure the orb, but he dodges the M2, dodges the debuff. Two ultimates right now for Dolos.
Yeah, Sremia trying to go in again. The next orb spawning in 10 seconds, so this aggression might be a little mistimed. Sremia likely to be forced back right now as Jürgen plays so aggressively. He tries to space in and does get an in cap on the Jumong. The Dead Roots, though, going to cut off the other two from the orb, and it looks like Red's going to secure yet another.
Here's another ultimate coming in. It's going to get countered away. That must have felt real good for Naraga to eat 100% energy with a single Q. Clerney using energy to try and protect his team.
Ooh, a lot of damage coming out onto Jürgen thanks to Excafu's book, dealing quite a bit here. Jürgen has to play a little bit safe here, but he knows that Clerney's backing him up.
Rain of Arrows is there, but they will secure it. Esma ultimate not finding any value. They got the orb before it exploded. Up top, you see a 1v1 between Excafu and Your Nightmare. Meanwhile, Bako trying to put pressure onto Jürgen.
Great pull here, pulling Jürgen way forward out of position. He has to back up slowly, but luckily Sremia wasn't in a position to capitalize.
Sremia just trying to keep in front of this orb. The AoE, he wants to push it before it, but no, the second rain of arrows that's going to help them secure it. eUnited still struggling to get these orbs.
Jürgen is so low, though. He's down to about 60 HP. He tries to find an M2 onto the Bako, but the bubble is there to prevent it. Now, a nice pull through the bubble gets some good damage onto Your Nightmare. The in-cap onto 2. Huge setup as they finish off the kill on Crazy.
Having to be a little bit more impatient, or a little bit more patient, I should say. But eUnited getting in that orb a little bit sooner. Now you see Bako jumping in so that before it even spawns, he can start pushing it back.
Yep, and that's exactly what you need to do if you're Sremia. He's finally recognizing it, that when the orb is about to spawn, he needs to go in and push Dolos back, and we saw it 2 times this round, and eUnited with those 2 orbs were able to take this game.
Clerney at this point, spending as much time maybe his team's chatting, hanging out, maybe watching a video.
Talking about their strategy for next round, what they got to do differently. But really nicely done by eUnited. I really like that adjustment, and Sremia, rightfully so, being crowned the MVP of that round.
Waiting for the spacebar this time, being more patient, waiting for that E, making sure he has all that before he goes into orb. Usually Bakos can afford to not have E, or can afford to not have their bulwark. They usually choose one or the other, but he kind of needs both right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
He needs everything. He needs to spacebar in, E it back, and then try an M1, M2, and it all, if he sees too much coming his way, he might want that bulwark as well. So he's playing a lot patient up until that 20 seconds when that orb is coming through.
We'll see if he keeps it up. As you mentioned, I really like the adjustment he's made. It's enabled them to secure just a couple orbs, and that's absolutely what they need. However, he gets caught in a trap this time. A nice in cap onto the Thorn, but the spotlight's available. It didn't hit Clerney.
It will almost always be countered, but there it is.
Yeah.
They push him back long enough to secure the orb, and this is the big turnaround for them. They now seem to have a little bit more health pool, not by a lot. It's almost even right now. Everybody in the low 90s.
Excafu pumping out a lot of damage onto Your Nightmare, though. It's the energy. A big in cap onto Jürgen, but Clerney with a nice timing dodges it.
Excafu getting pulled, but into the wall by Your Nightmare, and he easily dodges that spacebar. Just walks around. He's got the haste as well. But that team, at that time, the orb was given over to Dolos. No value in this, or a little bit of value in this ultimate into Bako's damage.
Yeah, pretty big damage onto Naraga, too. The Rain of Arrows. Naraga getting harassed so hard by this AoE. Really nicely done from Dolos, but Naraga still managing to stand pretty healthy.
Sremia having to back out while his cooldowns reset. They will not be able to secure this orb either. And you can see now, when they're getting pressure on them, Bako can't save his abilities to wait for that orb. And now it's that much harder for them to secure it after that first one.
Yeah, now they're playing a little split here. Sremia finally is able to make it back, but he's taken a decent amount of damage. Dolos now sitting on a 20% advantage. A nice pull onto Jürgen looks to equalize that a little bit, but he's not going to get any true HP. An ultimate going to be dropped for the orb. I really like that play from Excafu. That's something we haven't been able to see too much simply because Excafu hasn't been getting energy. The Dragon Slayer is canceled out here, and it's looking like things might be okay for eUnited.
You're going to have to dump almost all of his energy to try and get away from that Bako. Naraga gets out there, but now Naraga's split off. And look at Excafu. How far is he? And he got Rain of Arrow. He's slowed down. He's got nothing left right now to deal with this Jürgen. He has the space. It finally came up. He space bars away, finds his team, but the orb gets lost from eUnited back to Dolos.
Yeah, and now this advantage is pretty massive here. Excafu has to play so safely, almost at energy for ultimate. He desperately needs that energy before the next orb spawns so he can secure it for his team, but I'm not confident he's going to be able to get it, Carpet.
Will work up, gets the stun, but now look at the damage. Bako's taking the Arcane Catalyst, trying to pull double Rain of Arrows. He might just go down to this. He barely gets healed up. Red team.
Are they going to find the kill?
Got the orb.
They might be able to find the kill here on Your Nightmare as he's left without anything after that barbed husk, but he's managing to barely get away.
There's the pull. Bako's got his ultimate. Will he risk it for it? He will. No, he gets ulted. That was insane.
Jurgen, what's up, dude? Jurgen predicts the trajectory and catches for me at mid-motion. Sick play here from Jurgen.
I have never seen that. Finding Bako, getting the kill on his way. He's immune from CC during his ultimate. I've seen Bako's die, but not to a Dragon Slayer. My God.
Yeah, I think Jurgen must be like a calculus main or something. Or a calculus major.
No,
doing all that math.
Main, yeah,
calculus main.
What do you mean? I'm in calculus.
Doing all that math in his head.
Shouldn't he be a Destiny player at that point?
Yeah, I guess so. But still, sick play from Jurgen. Absolutely impressive. And Dolos now up 4-1. eUnited, they're on the brink of going 0-2.
Dolos now. 1 round from taking this.
Ooh, a great start here as the Pearl's forced to dive back, and she has Arcane Catalyst on her that leaves her open for a sheep. If she postures aggressively, she recognizes it, and Naraga's staying back.
But now you can see him kind of being in a formation where Naraga can help support his team, but Bako took so much. The sheep form, he's stuck there. Double rain of arrows, he has to E away. Oh, they almost didn't get that orb. The EX space nearly sneaking it through from Clerney. But getting that orb for eUnited helps them balance out. The health pool's now only a 10% difference, getting a little bit closer. Your Nightmare has gone in. Bako gets the incapacitate, plus the push just outside of the portal placement. Jurgen takes a lot of damage. Right now, Excafu's doing so well on Esmo.
Yeah, he's doing a lot of damage to Jurgen. Jurgen almost on an ultimate.
There's the ult!
Oh, the Esmo ultimate is going to land on Jurgen. There's no portal available. Beautiful timing from Excafu.
There's the pull, nearly killing Jurgen. Red team do get the orb. Jurgen's got another Dragon Slayer, but he probably wants to save his energy for other things.
Things getting so dicey here. The Dead Roots is going to try to equalize the playing field for Dolos, but it's not going to have too much success. The Prowl's been forced in the spotlight used on Jurgen, but still he's in such a precarious situation. Sremia recognizing it, tries to go in, but gets punished so hard. He gets pulled too. This is such a dangerous situation. He has no bulwark.
And there's no support for him as well, and the ultimate's going to get that orb for Dolos.
Ooh, a nice pull here. This is getting super dicey as either team could go down here. Sremia trying to play aggressive. The Blood Axe is going to miss, though.
Tied up in health percentage. Bako's in a really bad spot. He's a sheep, and he's debuffed. Trying to get that bulwark last second after that M2 found his way through the bubble. Oh. There's the pull. Jurgen just barely getting out the incapacitate, but the second jump was there. At this point, Bako needs the orb. He doesn't get it. Doesn't go down to the rain of arrows, but he gets pulled. He stays alive.
How from downtown! Clerney hits him from downtown with that M2. Pretty much max range there. And he finds the kill. Really beautiful play. I'm amazed Jurgen hasn't died yet.
Esmo has an ultimate. If he can get a pull, force a mobility here, but there he's going to get pulled instead.
He goes for the orb.
For the orb, I like it.
Yep. They need something, right? Oh, that feels bad. They might find the kill here on Jurgen. He's so close. The M1's being thrown out. The extended Silence Battlerite was not taken, else they might have been able to find that kill. But Naraga's going to go down, and the Excafu is all that's left.
So unbelievably close there. eUnited keeping it. Esmo saying, no one kills me, I kill me.
Going out on his own terms.
I take my last life. And Dolos will take the round against eUnited in a 5-1 victory here for match number 6 of the day.
Yeah, absolutely insane outcome. EU's proven to be pretty unpredictable. Dolos coming back and proving that they aren't going to be at the bottom of the bracket, but I feel a little bit bad for eUnited, a team that I had really high hopes for.
This time it really felt like composition pain.
It did.
It really was composition pain, and I'm not saying that their opponents didn't play very well. Right. Obviously they did so, but you can see that what their plan was never even close to coming into fruition.
Yeah.
They couldn't do any of the executions that we normally saw. Pearl was very quiet for a Pearl player. She was playing support, which usually Pearls can be aggressive. They can get those heavy silences aligned with those ultimates. We didn't see a single Shark ultimate land.
Right.
We saw some, there were some silences, but it wasn't always lined up with things. Her and Bako working together, mixed with her, Esmo just being able to just shred through health after health bar. But it happens sometimes. What are you to do?
Yeah, and the fact that the best Pearl player in the world, being Naraga, wasn't able to find success against the Xander really speaks to how strong the Xander is against Pearl. Of course, once Pearl uses her dive, she's very susceptible to things like being sheeped by Xander, and her big combos off her ultimate, which she really wants to have happen, are just completely negated by Xander's portal. It's just a very hard matchup.
A lot of key moment in that, but there's something special that I'd love to see, and it's Bako getting wrecked. I don't like seeing it very often, but it's Bako getting smacked by that Jumong ultimate. I just want to see it again. There's really nothing to say about it. I just want to see it again.
Yeah, this is becoming one of the defining things of Jürgen's Jumong, in my opinion, is his ultimate usage. We saw him pop it off a ton in the game earlier, and right here with that sick flick, my God, Jürgen, like not only is his awareness in terms of his Dragon Slayer usage impressive, but as is his aim.
And I was watching Bako, knowing he was chasing down that thorn. The moment he was too far away, he really wanted to get that, but that flick from the ultimate, you can see exactly how quick that was. That was slow motion, and it still looked faster than most things I can do when I'm playing the game. That is actually insane. So seriously, well played by them. They were able to take it in a pretty astounding victory. 5 rounds to 1, keeping eUnited very, very stifled. Going forward in the future, I'd like to see eUnited be able to mix up their team composition a little bit more. I know that they're very confident with this, but you can see where they feel the pain. They knew what they were going up against after 2 picks. They still stuck with it, and I know maybe now they're going to know that, but I still want to see a little bit more out of them. What do you think?
I really miss seeing Srami as Shifu.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of Bako from him in recent past, but he came into the scene as a Shifu main, and his Shifu was absolutely oppressive the past couple patches. Though Shifu did eat a couple of nerfs, I think he's still in a very strong spot, and if Srami were to pick him up, maybe they'd have more success.
We even saw yesterday in North America, the 2 things that everyone doesn't really like to see from Shifu are his end caps and his counters, and we saw yesterday a player in North America barely use those 2 abilities and still absolutely dominate.
Yeah, if there's anybody you need to look towards to see the power of Shifu, it's Hai there. Yesterday he tore up his enemies with that Shifu play.
He really did. So that's 6 matches down for our first European day here in the Battlerite Pro League. Our 7th match is going to be, I don't know if this is actually accurate.